Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Junaid Saleem to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Junaid Saleem's words. Israel launched a powerful attack on Iran, causing widespread devastation. The strike not only shocked Iran, but left the entire world stunned. Once again, Israel had done its complete homework prior to the attack, and its intelligence was fully prepared in every way. Before launching the attack, Israel disabled all of Iran's air defense systems. Following this, Israel carried out an intense strike using missiles and nearly 200 fighter jets, targeting over 100 locations across 8 Iranian cities. As a result, many of Iran's top military leaders and nuclear scientists were killed. Among those martyred in the first wave of attacks were Major General Hossein Salami, head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and Chief of the General Staff Mohammad Bagheri. Key Iranian nuclear facilities were also targeted. According to reports so far, 6 top nuclear scientists have been killed. The attack on Iran's largest nuclear plant, where uranium enrichment was being conducted, has raised fears of nuclear contamination. Iran claims that nuclear bases in Iraq were used to carry out these attacks. At first, the United States labeled the Israeli strikes as a unilateral operation by Israel. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio stated that America had no involvement in the attack, though Israel did inform the US beforehand. However, soon after, US President Trump openly supported the Israeli attack, disregarding all diplomatic norms. Trump stated that Iran's nuclear program poses a threat to the world and eliminating it is a top priority for the US. He declared America's full support for Israel in the war and warned Iran to agree to a nuclear deal with the US. Otherwise, the next Israeli strike would be even more terrifying. This, quite clearly, indicates that the attack on Iran had full American support and backing. The Israeli Prime Minister also publicly thanked the US for its assistance. This war is, in many ways, also a psychological one. Given the credible reports circulating in global media that Israel was preparing to attack, Iran's inadequate preparations and the loss of its top military and scientific leadership can only be called sheer incompetence. The fact that not even one of the 200 Israeli fighter jets was shot down, and that Iran failed to mount a defensive or retaliatory response, raises some serious concerns. This situation sends a clear message to the entire Muslim world and their leaders. War is a brutal reality that requires the display of real strength, not just rhetoric, claims, or lies. Lies can be told after a war, but to impose your will, you need to strike and show force. So the big question now is, what will Iran's response be? Iran immediately retaliated with about 100 drones aimed at Israel, but Israel intercepted and destroyed all of them in mid-air. Still, public sentiment in Iran is inflamed, with demands for revenge. Red flags, symbols of vengeance, have been hoisted at Jamkaran Mosque in Tehran and mosques in Qom. The world is now watching closely to see what Iran's long-term response will be. Israel believes that with the silent support of the United States, the United Kingdom and other Western powers, it can cripple Iran's military strength within 2 to 3 weeks. However, defense experts argue that Iran can resist for a long time and honestly has done so in the past. Iran still has the capability to surprise not just Israel but, well, the entire world. Yet, Iran's biggest problem is that Israel has planted spies across every corner of the country. Allegedly, these spies are hollowing Iran out from within. It was these Israeli agents inside Iran who enabled the Zionist forces to eliminate Iran's top military leadership in the first strike. Israel claims to have over 50 secret operations active inside Iran. There's also a theory that Israel is exaggerating the presence of a vast spy network inside Iran to create an atmosphere of fear. A single spy in enemy ranks can be more dangerous than 1,000 missiles, so this could be psychological warfare by Israel. However, Israeli media has released videos allegedly showing Iranian and Israeli agents working together to disable Iran's missile systems. According to Israeli media, over 1,300 local Iranian agents are working with them. Despite this, Iran still has the capacity to strike back. This is why a state of emergency has been declared throughout Israel, and all leadership has been moved to secure locations. Israeli military leadership has announced that the coming days will be extremely tough for Israel, and now it's time for Iran to demonstrate its strength and decades-long military preparations. This war does not appear to be ending anytime soon. As I mentioned previously, the Iran-Israel war will be a serious test for Pakistan. A few weeks ago, when India attacked Pakistan, Israel fully supported India. India used Israeli-made drones to strike Pakistan, and Israeli military experts operated the drone attacks from within India, something that was indirectly acknowledged. Iran, on the other hand, offered full diplomatic and moral support to Pakistan during that conflict. Now, Pakistan faces a difficult question. What role should it play in this war? Pakistan strongly condemned Israel's attack, calling it a blatant violation of Iran's sovereignty. Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar stated that Israel's hateful aggression has shaken both international law and the conscience of humanity. But the real question is, what will Pakistan do in practice? While its verbal stance has been firm, Pakistan's weak economy may not allow for direct involvement. Even maintaining neutrality will be a big step for Pakistan. If this war escalates, the real test for Pakistan will begin, especially if the United States asks to use Pakistani bases for operations against Iran. In that case, whether Pakistan agrees or refuses, both scenarios will be problematic. In this context, General Asim Munir's upcoming visit to the United States becomes highly significant. From the perspective of ordinary Pakistanis, the public seems to overwhelmingly side with Iran, believing that if Iran fails to resist, Israel's next target could be Pakistan and its nuclear program. The common sentiment is that Muslim countries are watching their own destruction silently, while the United States-Israel alliance is picking them off one by one. If Pakistan is targeted in the future, the other Muslim countries may once again just stand by and watch. After Israel's attack on Iran, there are, fears that the entire world could get dragged into this conflict. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar issued cautious condemnations of Israel's actions, but have not taken any concrete steps. Reports also suggest that most of the drones Iran launched at Israel were intercepted by Jordan before even reaching Israeli airspace. This hints at the complex dynamics of this war. China and Russia's reactions are also honestly critical. China is monitoring the situation closely, but historically avoids openly taking sides in international conflicts, except in Pakistan's case, where it has shown unconditional support. Whether China will act similarly for Iran is uncertain, and to be honest, seems unlikely. Russia, meanwhile, is bogged down in the Ukraine war. If Russia uses Israeli attacks as a pretext to strike European countries or openly supports Iran, the conflict in the Middle East could escalate dramatically. So far, both Russia and China are playing their cards close to their chests, waiting to see how much resistance Iran can put up and how much damage it can inflict on Israel. If Iran cannot hold out for long, it may not receive external support. Now turning to domestic affairs in Pakistan, the recent increase in the salaries of the Speaker and Senate Chairman has turned into a scandal. The entire budget is one thing, but these two individuals' salaries are another. The matter became so serious that the Prime Minister took notice. Sources say their salaries have reached up to 1.3 million PKR per month, and with perks included, the total exceeds 2.1 million PKR. The Senate Secretariat claims it had no role in this raise, saying it was approved by the Cabinet, with Dr. Tariq Fazal Chaudhry presenting the summary. This summary was approved on May 29th by the Cabinet, including the Prime Minister and Khawaja Asif. No one objected at the time, but as soon as public backlash erupted, Khawaja Asif called it, financial obscenity. This honestly reflects the hypocrisy that is becoming characteristic of the ruling PMLN. Regarding the KPK budget and Gandapur, I didn't question his intentions, but conspiracy theories have been circulating. Experts told me that not passing the budget could dissolve the government, so, presenting it was crucial. Regarding Chaudhry Pervez Elahi, when I said Imran Khan is no longer insisting on including him in Punjab leadership, I didn't mean to belittle him. In fact, Imran Khan deeply respects his resilience in jail and the support of his son Muniz and his devout wife, who encouraged him to stay strong. This physical torture is hard and, honestly, it's easy to judge from the outside. My goal is never to cause rifts among those fighting for constitutional supremacy, whether from PTI or other parties. At one point, when the decision to make him the president of PTI Punjab was being discussed and difficult times had already begun for the party, I happened to sit with Imran Khan and a young MNA over tea. Imran Khan asked how long Pervez Elahi would remain loyal and steadfast. I responded, dipping a biscuit into my teacup, and said, "I think Pervez Elahi's standing firm is as difficult as this biscuit reaching my mouth intact from this cup of tea." Then I put the whole soaked biscuit in my mouth without it breaking. Imran Khan laughed and said, "See, the biscuit stayed intact." Just like that, Pervez Elahi will also stand firm. That was how much trust Imran Khan had in Pervez Elahi. Regardless, time will reveal who really stands firm and supports whom. Difficult phases are here, and more are coming. You know, it's easy to criticize from the sidelines, especially when it comes to the physical and mental toll that political prisoners endure. I often refrain from commenting too explicitly on divisive topics because, well, my goal is not to create rifts among those who are striving, whether from PTI or any political party, for constitutional supremacy. There are many issues I could discuss that would please certain party loyalists, especially PTI supporters. But honestly, I try to avoid such topics unless absolutely necessary. The aim is not to sensationalize, but to maintain focus on what truly serves the nation. The world today is entering a highly volatile phase. The Middle East, Pakistan's regional dynamics and global power shifts are aligning in dangerous ways. The Iran-Israel conflict has exposed vulnerabilities across Muslim nations, including divisions, lack of strategic preparedness, and dependence on external powers. Pakistan, already burdened with economic instability, is now caught between moral responsibility and geopolitical realism. While the nation's people vocally support Iran, the state apparatus has, well, pretty limited options. If the conflict prolongs and external pressure, especially from the United States, increases on Pakistan to choose a side or offer military bases, the country will face a defining test. This makes General Asim Munir's upcoming visit to the United States extremely significant. It's not just about diplomacy, it may in fact shape Pakistan's stance in a global conflict. From the viewpoint of the average Pakistani citizen, there's a clear sense of solidarity with Iran. Most believe that if Israel defeats Iran without resistance, its next target will be Pakistan's nuclear program. People fear that just like Iran, Pakistan could be isolated, while other Muslim nations watch silently. The broader opinion is that the United States-Israel alliance is systematically targeting Muslim states, and unity among Muslim countries is, well, pretty much absent. If and when Pakistan's turn comes, few expect actual help from fellow Muslim nations, only statements. Following the Israeli strike, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates and Qatar issued muted condemnations but took no concrete steps. Furthermore, it's reported that Jordan didn't allow most of Iran's drones to pass through its airspace and destroyed them before they could reach Israel. This reflects the complex allegiances and internal pressures in the region. China and Russia's responses are also being closely watched. So far, China has observed quietly, consistent with its policy of avoiding open alignment in global conflicts, except in Pakistan's case, where it once declared full support regardless of diplomatic norms. Whether China will repeat such a stance for Iran remains doubtful. Russia, already deeply entangled in the war in Ukraine, might escalate tensions if it attacks European nations or openly sides with Iran, potentially widening the conflict in the Middle East. At this moment, both Russia and China are playing a waiting game, carefully observing whether Iran can withstand the Israeli onslaught and how much damage it can inflict in return. If Iran collapses quickly, external support may not materialize at all. That wraps up our translation of Junaid Saleem's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.